Alright, Grumpy Old Fart here. Hope everybody's having a good day. This is my first video trying during the day, so bear with me. My last video, this is my fourth video, my last video, my third one, was dealing with people don't know their God-given rights. They don't understand where their rights come from. And I wanted to touch a lot on that, but it was getting long, and so I'm making a second video to kind of follow up on that one. People don't know their rights, and I mentioned in that video that there are certain people that are ignorant, and it's not a bad thing to be ignorant. It's just don't stay that way. The problem is, in our school system, they don't teach civics. They don't teach basic math anymore, at least not the way they taught us. So this Common Core math is not good, and they're rehashing history, and they're changing history is what they're doing. They're taking all the good stuff America has done out, and they're focusing on the bad things. Now, America's not perfect. I never said we were, but we are the greatest country in the world simply because we're free. Other countries have freedom, but not like us. Okay? Other countries' freedoms are granted to them by their governments. America's founded on the principle that we're inherently free, and we have to have the government for certain things, dealing with foreign governments, protecting the borders, that kind of thing, enforcing laws. But the government works for us. It's not the other way around. So, excuse me. Oh, some coffee. Yeah, my wife got me the mug. It's freaking awesome. I love the hell out of her. Okay. There's something people don't understand. There is a movement in America to deny our citizens basic information that they should have. One of which is civics. If you don't know how your government works, if you don't know the rights that are inherent in you as a human being, you don't know when those rights are being trampled on. Saul Alinsky, who is quite possibly one of the most demented, evil people on the planet, he wrote a book called Rules for Radicals. Rules for Radicals is a guideline. It's a step-by-step instruction manual for the destruction of America. It details how to turn a free society into a communist or socialist society. And all you people out there who think that socialism is great, I'm going to do a whole video on that. And if you think socialism is a good thing, you're dead wrong. Socialism has killed over 100 million people, and this isn't soldiers on the battlefield. It's killed over 100 million people in the last century alone. And this isn't soldiers on the battlefield. This is citizens being murdered by their own government. The official term is democide. I'm going to do the video on that, so don't worry about that. But the point I'm getting at is, this Saul Alinsky, he wanted to turn America into a socialist nation, so he wrote a manual on how to do it. Barack Obama was following that list to the T. Literally, to the T. Hillary Clinton corresponded with Saul Alinsky. She knew the man. Okay? One of the projects on this list that Saul Alinsky wrote in his book Rules for Radicals is you have to control the education system, the schools. And one of the famous quotes by a communist was, "Give me all your children, let me educate your children, and I'll basically turn them all into communists," or something. I don't remember the exact quote. But Martin Luther King Jr. actually came out and said, "Only a fool lets his enemies educate his children." It doesn't get much plainer than that. Okay? This is Martin Luther King Jr., one of the greatest men that ever lived. Okay? Now, Rules for Radicals by Saul Alinsky is an evil book. It's designed to destroy America. If you don't believe it's evil, read the dedication. It's dedicated to Lucifer himself, the original radical, as Alinsky put it. the devil. It's dedicated to the devil. Okay? Now, they're not doing civics in school anymore, and they're doing it on. They're doing all this on purpose. Our children are receiving a faulty, fraudulent education because they're not being taught what they need to be taught to survive. They don't teach home ec anymore. Why? Because they want everyone beholden to the government. They're not teaching. Home ec teaches stuff like cooking. I saw a video the other day. Teenagers, high school kids, couldn't figure out how to work a manual can opener. What the hell? Saul Alinsky's program, one of his programs is control the education. They're not being taught. You take the children of this generation, or actually it's last generation, and the millennials that everybody talks about, and you create a dumbed down, ignorant generation. And then later on, when you want to brainwash them, they're already there. If you start brainwashing the children when they're young, you get brainwashed adults. Or does that not make sense? Well, that's what they're doing. These kids have no clue what the First Amendment says. They have no clue what it means. They may be able to quote the words, but they got no clue what it means. The First Amendment, the big part of that is free speech. You have the right to say what you want. I have the right to say what I want. Even if we don't get along, we have the right to say what we want. Okay? There's a whole slew of conservative speakers that go to these colleges, and the local Democrats organize riots to shut those speeches down. That's an infringement of the First Amendment. Right there. Okay? Excuse me. The Second Amendment. They're trying to do away with the Second Amendment. They're trying to say guns are evil. A gun is a tool, just like any other tool. You can kill somebody with a hammer just as well. It's just a tool. You can kill somebody with a screwdriver. You can kill somebody with your car. Okay? You don't see anybody trying to ban hammer, screwdrivers, and saws in cars. Okay? The point is, and I'm going to do a whole thing on the Second Amendment. I have a wonderful speech on that. But the point is, these lefties, and I call them demon craps. My son loves that term. Demon craps. Because they are. Anything a demon craps up and can't figure a way to cover up, it's probably a Democrat. And I'm going to say it again, I'm not talking about your average Democrat walking in the street. The average Democrat voter is basically a good person. They just don't know, because they're not being taught. They're being lied to by their own party. Okay? These Democrats lie to their own people, the people who are voting for them. They've been lying to black people for decades. Okay? But they're because they have to have that black vote. This last election, the country was split between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Donald Trump won, but by a very narrow margin. I'm a firm believer, and there's evidence to suggest that massive amounts of illegal aliens voted for Hillary Clinton in that election illegally. Okay, and voter fraud is a thing; it's a real thing. But if Donald Trump gets 5% of the black vote to leave the Democrat Party and come over to his side, which I hesitate to call it the Republican Party because most Republicans don't like it. That's one of the reasons I like Donald Trump, is because the Republicans and the Democrats both didn't like him. He's got to be, if everybody hates him, he's got to be doing something right? At any rate, if we get 5% to come from the Democrats to the conservative side, that's a 10% difference. And basic math, and the Democrats will never win another election legally. That's why they want all the illegal aliens coming in here. But I'm digressing from the story here, from the topic. This education system that we have is faulty and fraudulent. And when I make a video, I tend to digress and go into all different directions. But the problem is, everything in politics is intertwined. Everything is based on something else, which is based on something else. You can't talk about one thing without talking about other things. You can't isolate one topic. And I'm going to try to get out of here as quick as I can because these videos tend to run long. Man, I'm a long-winded SOB. So, here's the thing. People need to read the Constitution. And don't listen to what other people say. Don't listen to me. Get a copy of the Constitution itself in your hand, a paper copy. Don't look at it online. Get a paper copy and read it yourself. Listen to the language. Listen to the way it's phrased. Read it and understand what your rights are. Because if you don't know what your rights are, you don't know when they're being trampled on. Alright? Got nothing but love for each and every one of you out there. And I really, really hope you do this because not everybody, people just don't know the Constitution anymore. That's all there is to it. They don't know their rights. And we got to know our rights. Take care. Have a blessed day. God bless everyone.